Okay, Jason. So Jason's first words to me this morning were, "I don't really know what I'm doing here." So this should be interesting. We didn't give him any preparation at all.
That's life for you. I guess. No preparation.
That's right. That's right. So Jason, you grew up in Chicago. Tell us a little bit about your background and just how you started playing basketball.
Well, grew up in Chicago with my mom, my grandparents. My grandfather, he was originally born in Arkansas, Little Rock, and he originally born in Arkansas, Little Rock, and he joined the Army at 18. And from the Army, he met my grandmother, and they decided to move to Chicago. In Chicago, he was a police officer for 30 years, and also he worked in Chicago Public Schools for 30 years. So with that being said, he had my mom, and then also my mom had me at 16. So looking under my grandfather's wing, I saw how he worked. Every day he worked. Every day to bring home the bacon, and every day my grandmother shopping. So I wanted that to be my future as well. So watching him and being motivated by his hunger to please his family, that was my main goal. And about 11 years old, my mom got a great job as account manager at Blockbuster out here in McKinney. So we moved out here, and from there, I decided I want to play basketball at 5. My mom said, I'm going to be in the NBA at 5 years old. That's what she said. I don't remember none of that. So, but coming to Texas, I was a big kid. I wanted to play basketball. So out here in the 7th grade, I got cut. Did not play the basketball. So I said, okay, football. So I started playing football in 8th grade. Got to high school playing football. And then one day, the basketball coach saw me in the football field and pulled me off. He said, come here, son. Come to the gym, took a heavy ball, dunked the ball. That was the first time I just dunked the ball. He said, you're never playing football ever again. From that point on. Football coach was mad. Everybody was upset. And his name was Rupert Alexander. His son now still holds a school record, high school record for scoring in Texas. So I took myself to listen to what he said. He taught me how to shoot. He taught me almost everything about basketball. And basketball and my grandfather's hunger to fight, that motivated me to keep going, to help please my mom, to help have a foundation built for my family in the future. So I took that as motivation to be, we're getting cut in 7th grade, motivation to be what I am now. And through life, you will be put against the wall, and you have to fight everyone. Mm-hmm. And I understand that mentally as being 6'5", well 6'7" when the sun's out, and just being the 6'7" power forward, playing against and guarding Shaq, guarding Alonzo Mourning, guarding Jermaine O'Neal. I'm 6'7", but I have to work to guard them. But yes, in college I scored the ball. Yes, I was a shooter. But my niche in NBA that I found my place was, like Malcolm said, was to rebound and defend. And that's what fed my family. So I'm stuck with that. Yes, I wanted to shoot. In the gym and practice, I'm shooting. I'm beating everybody in practice. But when it comes to that game, for us to win as a team, I had to stick to my role. And that's what led me to where I am today.
That's great advice. So you played 4 years at Cincinnati in college.
Best 4 years of my life, yes.
Awesome. Played under Bob Huggins.
Bob Huggins, the world's greatest.
Give us a lesson that Bob taught you in those 4 years.
It's so many. One thing he always said, you could take a piece of crap and dip it in gold, but under that gold is still a piece of crap. So it's like, you can take that how you want to take it, but it's something that stuck with me, as you can see, and I don't want to be this type of person over here and cover it up with a false mindset of me, and my integrity is crap. So I want to be humble with myself and go from there.
That's an interesting one. I like that. That's going to stick with all of us, I think. So let's talk about your college career. You had a lot of individual accolades. You guys never won a championship, but you achieved success in other ways. Talk about that mindset to keep going, keep striving, and keep trying to be the best.
Well, it's after a while your knees give up. So it's transitioned to where I'm now with retirement and transition to the next chapter in life. You have to be hungry still, can't be satisfied. I may be content where I am, but it's still not going to be enough. I need to keep going, and being in college was one of them things. I could have been a freshman and just folded. All these kids are going fast, they're going harder than me. I'm not the tallest out here anymore, but I didn't. I went to college at 205, came out 245. So I started working. Not just eating. It was eating, yes, it was. It was that. But it's just working, understand what I have to do for myself, mentally and physically, to pursue my goal in life.
And you went on to be drafted in the first round by the Pistons. You really found your home in Detroit. You were there for 8 years. What kept you on that team for 8 years?
The city. I'll say the city that the fans did. The support of them of how my work ethic was. Detroit was everybody knows Detroit is a grimy, dirty, hard-working, blue-collar city with the motor company there is, and that's what I felt I brought to the fans. So I'm 6'7", playing in 7-footers and every day. So my hustle, my grit has to be more for the fan support. The fans, our first 4 years went to conference finals, and me being blessed enough to play in that as a rookie was a great accomplishment, and the fans loved it. I never would think that my jersey, NBA jersey, would be in the stands like that. It was great to see. It was physically, and the support from the fans was great, and that city of Detroit kept me there for 8 years.
So we're talking to a group of leaders in their industry, business owners and leaders, and you said you started off kind of as a scorer. You had that mindset, but in the NBA you switched to be a defender, a rebounder, whatever was best for your team. How did you decide your role in that team?
Well, it was the role that was already there for me. They drafted me and saw what I could do. I was a rebounder, I was a defender, I also could score. But being on a team that just won the championship the year before, they had the scores. They want another Ben Wallace, I should say. And I happened to bring that role off the bench. And that's how we got the conference finals 4 years in a row and almost had a chance to win a championship.
And what would you say is the importance of knowing your role in a team setting?
It's staying within your box. If you try to do what you're not supposed to do or you can't do, you will mess up the whole rotation. You mess up everything. Throw everything off. So you stay in your zone, and if you do this correctly and they do their job correctly, we're great.
So after a successful 10-year career in the NBA, you decided to go overseas. You went to China, played a little bit in Turkey. Talk a little bit about your mindset shift going overseas and what the difference was between that and the NBA.
Well, like Malcolm said, the ball goes in the bucket. That's what it does. But the culture of everything is different. The China, my first year, it was a life-changing, life-humbling experience in China. Just seeing the people, just being in the atmosphere for the 4 months I was over there, I appreciate my home, and I appreciate their home. They took me in under their wing to bless me to play in China, to get that, to travel all over China. And just seeing the people, seeing their culture, see how they live, I had to embrace that, and it was a positive, also somewhat mind-boggling as well, but I had to take it in, and it was a great experience. And playing in Dubai, I love Dubai. Oh, I would love to live there. That would be my second home. I love Dubai. The people was great, the food was great, of course. The weather, we play at 2 o'clock after the game, and these is great. It's only 5 p.m., 85 degrees outside. I would love that. Body's not aching, but and then in Turkey as well. Turkey was a great experience. I love playing in 3 countries.
And so you talked a little bit about appreciation. I feel like I had a conversation earlier this week about the resource of people and the importance of appreciating your people. You ultimately were able to retire as a Piston because of a move that not a lot of players get. So talk about that moment and what that meant to you.
It lets me know that you can't burn bridges. You have to stay in contact with the people that pretty much brought you where you are. And you don't want to burn bridges. I always have good vibes, good mindset, good intentions, and good integrity, and everything will come in balance. I didn't want to step on your toes. It's not a point of burning bridges, like I said. It's no point in doing that in life. And it's now in the fact that where I'm 37, and now I have my son, do I have to understand the same thing? Mm-hmm. Let's have great integrity. Let's be a positive person. Let's have a walk with our head up and be a solid man.
And so speaking of your son, we also have a lot of parents in the room or on the roof. Talk a little bit about, like, as an athlete, how do you raise a child in athletics but without pushing them, finding that balance there?
It's frustrating. Because my son, he's 8, but he looks 13. No, I'm sorry, he just turned 9 November 11th. His birthday is 11/11/11. And with that, his jersey number is 11. Everything about him is 11. He loves it. I love it too as well. But he's playing baseball, football, and basketball. And he sucks at basketball. I'm like, oh my God, hey, what are you doing? He loves football. He's gonna hit somebody. I'm like, I'm not pushing basketball on him. He sees it every day. We have AC Law lives around the corner from me. Jermaine lives up the street. He sees basketball every day. So I don't want to push that yet. When we get to 7th, 8th grade, I'm gonna buckle down on him like I'm gonna do something. But it's hard to say because he's very talented. He has no idea what he has. and I don't want to push anything on him. He wears a size 10 shoe at 9 years old. His shoes cost the same amount as mine do. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. He's out there playing games and he's tripping, it's goofy. I'm like, I understand, but you look 13. So it's a blessing. It is a blessing, though.
And talk about the impact that sports had on you as a kid and what you hope that passes on to your son.
The brotherhood. I still stay in contact with my old AAU team, Team Texas. That was my OAU. We had the fight the other night. Terrence Crawford, guys at the house. My old AAU team, point guard, big man, ever since our freshman in high school, still come to the house. We still chat. We still talk, check on each other. That's the camaraderie that we had, and that's from basketball. 3 of my teammates in Cincinnati was also my AAU team. Bob Huggins signed 3 of my old teammates, so we can all play together. And with that being said, we went to the Sweet 16, second round of playoffs. The tournament, and just having that camaraderie with one another to this day still is a lifetime, and that's what I want him to understand as well.
And you saw a lot of different teams, a lot of different team chemistry, different leadership styles. What is one key that you saw to the successful teams?
Well, a lot of teams don't do it now as much as they should, but we had a lot more team outings. We was always together, and with the team I got drafted with, I had we call them old heads. I had Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince. We always stuck together. And on the plane rides, back and forth, and now we are together playing cards, cracking jokes. It's just a camaraderie of having that support and carried on to the court, having it at the back.
The transition from being an athlete to the business world can be tough. I mean, traditionally it is. What prepared you for that tradition or for that transition? And in what ways would you say you were not as prepared as you'd like to be?
With things in the future, you really can't be prepared for it, and that's how I go into it. But through the NBA, they have programs, coaching programs, they have entertainment programs, and I took advantage of that. I took advantage of the coaching programs in Virginia. Went there 2 years in a row to coach the top 100. And within that coaching, we have skill sets. You have classroom settings, which you have to go with other players, and we go in there and break down film. We go in there and draw plays on the board. We go out and coach the team we have signed to us, and that's our team. We get their coach. So we go to locker rooms, we breaking out plays, and that's something that I am within myself, want to be a coach as well. So I took advantage of that. And that experience of understanding the pressure that coaches do have kind of shook me a little bit, but like I said, you have to be prepared for that.
So you've talked a little bit throughout some of your answers about people who helped you and kind of those who are giving back to others. So what would you say is the importance of, taking on, for business leaders, taking on interns, taking on mentees, things like that? What's the importance behind that?
You want to, of course, look at their credentials. You want to look at their resume. You want to check their background. But also, it's about that vibe. Do you see them working? Do you see them having them being hungry for this company to rise? If not, then let them go.
And last question, we talk a lot about overcoming adversity in this series. So you did that a lot as a player and as a person on and off the court, saw a lot of success. What would you say is one key to that, and to just, we're all going through these unprecedented times. It's difficult. So what's a way to keep a positive mindset through all of that?
First, I would say pray. As always, pray. But just be humble within yourself. If you feel that you are on the path that's not positive or the wrong path that you shouldn't be taking, you have to come within yourself and change that. And it's all mental. It's the world right now is hectic. It's very hectic, and we're coming to a change that we're coming to a change where that everything's gonna get back to the norm, hopefully. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, but it'll get back there. And it's something that we all have to overcome. We all have to come together right here and overcome this. And I feel that we will.
I love that. Well, Jason, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Malcolm normally has some follow-up questions, so we'll let him.
What are you trying to say? I talk too much?
No, I like it. It's great. Yeah, I love it.
Okay. All right, a couple of questions that were texted to me. Let me find them here. Let me find them. All right, NBA draft tomorrow night. What's the one memory from your NBA draft moment that stands out the brightest?
It's so many, but I would say I was blessed to have my grandfather by my side. For me, my grandfather was there to see that, and that was the number one thing that stuck with me to this day.
Just to state, Talk about the why, right? That's a hell of a moment. What does he remember? He remembers his family, his grandfather being there.
Yeah.
That's what you remember the most. That's
I cherish
it kind
that,
of
yes.
reiterates what we were talking about earlier. Okay, so you were coached by some legendary coaches. Let's call it what it is. Bob Huggins, Larry Brown.
No, not Larry Brown.
You did not have Larry Brown.
No, I had the blessing of Flip Saunders.
So Flip Saunders.
Yes.
Those two coaches, very different. What is something that you take away from each of them and remember of both their style and how they impacted you in your later career?
Well, from Huggins, as we know, he has many sayings, many mind-boggling moments, and there's so many things he said.
Like gold-covered crap.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of them. But it's to understand when to speak up and understand when to be quiet, type thing. It was when to be humble and when to understand your aspect of your life and your work from Bob Huggins. And that's something that all college players need. It's something, a man like that, to understand you're not here with your parents anymore. So it's time to grow up. It's time to get you to the next level, or when you graduate, wherever you're going to be in life, it's time to grow up. And that's what I got from him. Flip Saunders, it was be professional. He was the guy that always, in practice, he's wearing a suit. I swear he wore a suit in practice, but at least almost 100 times. I swear he did. But he was always professional. He would always never yell. He never yelled. He had a straight, what he said to do, he expected it, because he had a team full of vets. So we all respected him as Flip Saunders and what he brought to us. He brought the plays to us. We worked the plays out. We came together. We're vets. We respect him. Be professional.
All right, one more here that just came in. Make sure it's appropriate given the source. All right, so you had some great experience being able to play traveling the world. It gives you more appreciation here for living in the United States and your experience here. Specifically, what is it you see that makes the U.S. special as compared to these other places? Not to say that they're bad, but that separates the U.S. both in playing and in your post-playing career.
Well, playing is a lot more, in the U.S. it's a lot more networking. Of course, basketball is loved around the world, but it's not more networking playing-wise. You can get out there and reach open doors while playing that you couldn't do in other countries. Other countries are yes and no. It's not a maybe, well, let's talk about it, well, we'll see, we'll come in, let's talk. It's not that in other countries, it's yes and no. So that's the blessing for here with playing. After playing, networking, once again, in the U.S. is always going to be your hand of knowledge within the world, actually. Because you can be here and learn about what's going on over there. You're over there, you get cut off from what's going on over here. You have no idea what's going on sometimes. So being in the U.S. and networking after playing is a great way to branch off business-wise, great way to branch off actually mentally, because you understand now what's going on in other countries from being over there. So you have to understand the balance of the two.
Jason, thank you so much for sharing with us. You know, there's a lot of lessons that we can apply from your playing career to businesses and just life in general, so we appreciate it. Folks, you have no idea how much we appreciate and being able to see people in person. I know all of you do as well. Our happy hour is the first Thursday in December. December 3rd, is that good people behind me here? December 3rd, it's at Round Table on the patio there, just over there on Warren. So we'll see you there.
Yes, sir.
And now, on the third Tuesday in December, when it says it's going to be like 45 or 50 degrees, just remember, John, it's 20 degrees warmer on top of the garage. Now I have a bunch of folks who can believe me when we say this. Now before you go, Will Coburg, you've got 4 spots for an in-person lunch over at the Embassy Suites, as I understand it.
It's a veterans luncheon.
Veterans luncheon honoring those who served, and you've got 4 spots. So if somebody wants free lunch and honor our vets, come see Will.
You can hang out with me.
Ooh.
The part about hanging out with him has got to be like, the free lunch has got to be worth more than that. I mean, he says that like it's a positive thing, but it's really like makes it worse. Folks, thanks for coming. Feel free to stick around, grab some coffee, grab some tacos, enjoy yourself, stay as long as you want. Thanks again for coming.